très rapidement. Okay, so hello, my name is Audrey Sal. I'm working inside the Institut Pasteur in the photonic bioimaging facility. So in fact, we just want to present you today really quickly the work group core facility staff, who we are, what are our current actions, and what we plan to do. Okay, so I will just briefly, and it's really important for us to name who is part of this work group. So we are representing all the nodes from France-BioImaging. So from Paris-Centre, we have Aurélien, Xavier, Nicolas, and Perrine. In Bretagne-Loire, we have Steven and Stéphanie. In Bordeaux, there is Christelle. Montpellier, Jean-Bernard, Geneviève, Vicky, and Virginie. And in Marseille, Sébastien, Nicolas. And in Île-de-France, Paris-Île-de-France, Romain. So you see, we have a lot of people. We need some more picture for sure. We have made a lot of virtual meetings. And here are our different missions. So the two main missions that we have are driven by the mission officer. So we'll not go into detail on that because this will be explained to you by not Cédric Matthews, by Alexandre for the mission of Cédric Matthews and by Fabrice. Just to explain you that within the work group, we have two subgroups, a work group for integration, another work group from training. That is part of these two missions. What we can say is that in this integration, we have several people, and in the training, this will be also discussed just after by Fabrice. It's not only the work group core facility. This is really important that all this mission is transversal and linked to the other national network. And we have also different other action mission. We are part of the executive board. We are also part of the different grant. We can participate to the evaluation, just for example, for the tech transfer, just for incorporating a new development inside the core facility. And we want to develop new action that are proper for the work group core facility, like, for example, career development. That is a big question for core facility staff. Also, the renewal of equipment, old equipment, quite classical Confoca that we have inside the facility that cannot be renewed by innovation, but are really the basis of core facility. Do we have plan to renew them? Can we discuss with the industrial board? This is a really main question that, for example, we have this morning and have to be discussed and take action on that. So we'd like to work on this. And this for sure to be work all together, because our main idea is to have action to help and to reinforce the work inside the core facility for core facility, but also for the staff. And we want to work hand in hand with the national and international network. This was also a main question, that there is a lot of existing action that exists. So we have perhaps to listen, to communicate with people, so that, for example, if you want to exchange expertise, what can exist at the national, international, perhaps with Eurobioimaging or other. So we have to discuss all together in national to see what we can apply and we do not do. And if there is not, to work all together with all the national infrastructure to create new action. And if you want to discuss with them, to join us also, to be part, do not hesitate to use this mail address.
S'il y a une question ou l'autre. Emmanuel Faure va nous présenter la mission data qui mène avec Perrine.
Okay, thank you, Alexandre. So I will present you today the work that we are doing since, let's say, 2 or 3 years. I don't really remember. So I don't know, what, 2 years? Yeah. So I don't know. You hear me now? Thank you. Okay. I don't know who had this idea of a mission officer, but actually I do think that it's a very good idea. I think that the work we are doing is very, very interesting. I don't want to acknowledge me, but thanks to Perrine a lot. And okay, this work is very, very nice. And the things that we are doing to the community, I think that now we realize, maybe since we are doing it, that it's very necessary. Just a comment. When we start, maybe 3 years ago, the user, we usually say, why do you want me to give my data on your data manager, whatever? Now they say, how can I put my data on your data manager? Well, the data manager is not mine, of course. It's one hosted by France-BioImaging, the idea at least. So I think the evolution of the mentalities in this data part is really, really making a lot of progress. And so what are our missions? So we have, let's say, 4 types of missions. So the core facilities and etc. that you may know a lot because we are really in touch with the facilities, okay? But also to the users and the other team. So for example, to help them with the DMP and etc., the data management plan, okay? So that's we'll discuss a bit. After, we have a role for the community about sharing our practice of data, of image analysis and etc. So we try to work on that part also. And we have also a role from our institution. So we are involved here in the data management plan at the level of the government and etc. to discuss with them and to make the link between the users, the facilities, and the government. Okay. So our roadmap was, and we are of course late. Okay. With that, so we are at the end of 2020s. So why we are late? Actually, it's because we are trying to do the things good, okay, in a very good way. So it takes times, of course, but the solution that we will provide, we will actually not really provide, we will suggest, let's say, okay, I hope will be delivered in 2023 at the beginning and in a very, very good way. I will explain you that. So the first thing that we did, we are not alone and we don't do the job actually with Perrine. They do the job, okay? We are just here to organize and help them on many things. But so we start to hire many people. So many of them were already involved already in the infrastructures. So Guillaume is now at Montpellier. Marc is now in Nantes. Jean-François is half with us. Just a new recruit from Bordeaux, okay, from at the BIC, okay. He's not here today, I think, but and Thierry Pecot. So we are organizing this community of the data. So we have new now. We discuss in FBI Data Slack if you want to share anything with us. That's nice. But we'll have a new emails here. If you have any question about data management, about anything about around data, just ask us. So this is a common mails, and everyone here will receive this mail. Okay. What we did during these 2 last year or so, it's to try to help for this data management plan that now I think everyone is aware of what is it. Okay, so just a reminder that there is 2 data management plan. One is for the structures for the facility and extra, and one is for the project. Okay, for the team and the project. So we are working now at these levels. So Perrine and Guillaume Extra organize this PGD-ton, okay, which is DMP, PGD, the same thing, okay, the French way. So the idea was to, with some people involved in the core facilities, to help them to create their own structured data management plan, okay, with the help of the infrastructure IFB also. They help us a lot in this part, okay. So where are we now? So this is all the platform that did the DMP structures. So congratulations. Many of them are, it's in progress. I know some of them, so it's in progress, but it's very, actually very well. How it's related to users, it's after their own data management plan with the directly driving drive to the users, okay? So that was the first part. The second part that we are involved is to connect a data manager to the meso centers. So if you remember, the government wants that we move our data to the meso center. Let's say it like that, for many reasons, and many good reasons actually. So we try to help this movement by installing, deploying a data manager, which is Homero. So it was a choice. Maybe it could change, but for now it's a better choice that we have. To deploy Homero in these meso centers, and it takes times. So why? It's because we try to have a systematic deployment that will be can be deployed in every node, adapt, of course, to every node, but deployed in every node to their own local mesocenters. So for that, we try to think about everything. Okay, so connection with how do you connect with these things? So do you need to create an account if you are from another institution, etc. Many questions about connection, many questions about storage, how is it stored, many questions about how do you put the data there, and etc. So this will be discussed tomorrow and presented by Guillaume. Okay. And we also want to say that we will also give some what I call beta user support. Okay, it's not completely directly user support because this is the role of the core facilities, but this is here this deployment and how to use Omiro. It's not that simple. So I usually say Omiro is helpful because it's very constraining, but Omiro is very great because it's very constraining. But you have to learn how to do that, okay? And that is not just one click and you know. So we will also provide you some links and helps for that. Just a reminder that we are also involved in this EFB multi-forest project. So just a comment on that is that people from the node, if you did it yet, so you didn't yet, ask for the money. You have monies inside that, and it takes a lot of time to get the money. And the money will be used in the mesocenters to deploy the storage and the computational resources that we will need to install Omiro, etc. So that's one side, okay? What also the team does, so they just, so they will talk about that tomorrow, so they just publish a data blog, okay, where it's in French, and they will say why tomorrow, where they try to explain how do you put the data on Omiro, okay, so some categories, how do you access to that, and etc. So this is mostly the work, sorry, of Marc Mongi, who's here, I guess, yeah. So thank you for the team for that. So this is part of the work that we try to do for the community. We don't really know where it goes, okay. We will see that with you, with all the users, but that's the ideas, okay. And I had a couple of slides of FBS, but you already showed that, so I will not go into details. Maybe one announcement, Magali, that the next will be 1st of February, if I remember well. Okay, so the next will be 1st of February. So I will skip that because Edouard already presented that, and I think I'm done. Thank you very much.
On a du temps pour quelques questions.
Any questions? Yeah.
We did a few tests on Omiro, and one of the problems was that, I mean, it's very technical and stupid, but we could upload many files, but we could only download one file at a time in the original file format.
Yeah.
People have they have analysis workflow that are designed for the original file format. So they want to collect multiple files at a time in the original file format. And then, so I have a few questions. Can we do, so what APIs are available? What APIs are you using? And what can we develop with these APIs, for example, to solve this kind of problems?
Yeah, so it's a non-problem that we already have it several times. So it's why I usually say that Omiro is constraining because you have to adapt your ways to the Omiro portals. Let's say there is many different API. So if you usually try to download, for this case, many data, we use the Python API, okay, which is not marvelous, but it works for this case. So it's exactly what we will try to do with this blog. It's to give you some way to act with Omiro. If you are in this type of use case, please do that and that and that. It's not really perfect at all. I do agree there is plenty of things that are missing in Omiro because users don't want that and that. So we are in contact with Glencoe, which is the company which is working with Omiro and etc. We don't know for now where it goes, but we are in contact with them. And Guillaume will tell you tomorrow, but there is a very promising, let's say, changement that will happen in Omiro soon, maybe next year, will be the changement of format and etc. may solve this type of problems. We don't know now, but yeah, Guillaume. Greg.
To complement what Emmanuel said about that, the possibility to get access to the raw data in the native format, we plan to, in the deployments we want to set up, we plan to leave direct access to the raw format, at least for a window of time, or anyway, we plan to leave a view of the original data independent from Homero. The idea being that Homero is not the only tool to manage data, because yes. So, but we can talk more if.
So if you have issue with Homero, don't abandon. Okay. Send us an email and we'll help you. We'll try at least.
S'il n'y a pas d'autres questions, on va peut-être passer à la présentation de Fabrice. Mission officer formation.
Ça a marché ce matin.
Dès que tu as 10 minutes,
D'accord. Tu me prends pour un bavard, c'est ça?
Non, je n'ai pas remarqué.
Si, c'est bon. Okay. Hi, everyone, and apologies to all the people that were there this morning, because this will basically be exactly the same presentation, except that it will be in English, sort of. Okay. Tac. Okay. Ouais. My fault. Okay. Oops. Where is? Can you find the pointer? Yeah. Come on. Yeah. And if everything goes right, this should crash at least 2 times. So each time it will be for videos, which is so I will try to talk about what we're doing at FBI training. So this is a new name, because for those of you who have missed the previous episodes, we've been trying to rephrase this, what we are doing. So it's not passport, the training passport anymore, but this is FBI training. So, and the work group has been working on theorization of the training data, and why are we doing that? Simply because we are all doing trainings, face-to-face, remote training, synchronous, asynchronous, and the common point is we all prepare programs. Do we reuse programs? I don't think so. We are preparing lectures in the form of PowerPoints of chapters, books, chapters, long videos, webinars. Do we really reuse the full content of that? No. So this is why we've been trying to focus on this last part, the single units, the transferable knowledges. This comes as few slides. This comes as written paragraph, as really short videos. And I think that this has the potential to be reused. So, okay, let's go to the FAIR principle. So the first letter stands for findable. If you want to find something, you need to build a proper GPS, some kind of positioning system that would allow you to find precisely the content. So this is exactly what we've been doing since the beginning of the action. First, we have been building this book of knowledges. These are mind maps that will recapitulate all the kind of topics that unit sequences, unit knowledges that we could transfer, assembled into topics, assembled into fields. In a way, what we are doing here is creating a full ontology for the transferable knowledges. But of course, having the map is not enough. We need to have some kind of container to contain the content, what will be used to train. And we have been shaping data containers. So to give you some numbers, because everyone loves numbers, we have been shaping this ontology into field, topic, sequence, well, sometimes subsequences, and depending on the three fields, image processing, electron microscopy, light microscopy, you can see that we have big fields, let's say around 20 fields per domain. Then we have roughly between 50 and 100 topics and a lot of sequences and subsequences. Now, the data should be made accessible. So how do you do that? Well, in modern days, the thing you would do is basically create a web portal. So here you go. This is a template of what we call the FBI training web portal. And this is just the face of the portal. And then you need to have something to keep the content. This will be the FBI training repository. So on the web portal, you may have all the tools to create the content, to shop for content, especially if you're a trainer, to reference your program, and I will tell you more about that later on, to keep track of acquired skills and to access the content. So any contributors could push just a paragraph, just something explaining a unitary knowledge. And then this content will be reviewed, edited, and finally pushed toward the repository. A trainer, once this repository is quite filled, could shop for part of the content to pre-format it. The web portal will pre-format it so that he can or she can use it for presentation, for lectures, and so on. A trainer building a full program could push the program of his or her training according to expressed as the different points we've got in the ontology. This will allow, by checking if the trainer is checking that a user has been following a training, then the user may have access to a list of all the skills he or she has acquired. And at the same time, the user will be able to find the content relative to the program that he or she has been following, but also, as we have plenty of content, as it is findable, the user may just go and browse the content, just the Wikipedia style. So then comes interoperable in this that you're all able to read and I'm not able to pronounce. In terms of interoperability, the trainer might be the actor of it by shopping for content, reshaping it, and pushing it back to the repository. But also, as we've got a database here, if you make some requests saying, I want that content, that content, that content to be formatted that way, to be re-imported on FunMOOC, for instance, or on Moodle, then you can grab everything and push it to a different repository where you can expose the content. Okay. Reusability, of course, the trainer by shopping, the user by browsing. The content is fully reusable. We've got fair training content. At the moment, we have the structure. The web portal is under construction. We are missing some content. So we've decided that we would, as proof of concept, build 4 MOOCs. And to do that, we have been defining program, trying to shape it according to the data container that we have been defining earlier. Then, once we have the program, once we have everything, we must write a scenario, storyboard, check what kind of content we will expose. Is this specific part of the training something that should be displayed as a video, as a written text, or whatever? So we are at this step with a special emphasis, and you will see it in the next slide, about the video content production. We have a starting collaboration with France University Numerical FunMOOC. That is eager to help us and that is really interested in the model that we are building right now. And of course, this will be one deliverable, the MOOC, but we would have produced content, and this content will be fed into the web portal and repository, making everything reusable. So about video production, we have had a workshop last fall. So this workshop was dedicated only to the member of the work group, the task force of our group, with the help of Brice Roncin from the RTMFM. And he's been doing some knowledge transfer about video production, and we're really thankful to the RTMFM, with whom we are producing one of the MOOC dedicated to user-friendly tools for deep learning. The other MOOCs that we are producing are aimed at users of the facility, about the basics of ultramicroscopy and about the basics of confocal microscopy, and also an additional one with a colleague from the candidate node from Rouen about basic of digital image processing using ImageJ. Our partners, of course, RTMFM for content production, for content exposition, FunMOOC, and we are willing to go deeper in advanced interactions with Bioimaging North America, and I've got a meeting next Friday with them. They are quite interested in this framework and in this this way of thinking about the training. African Bioimaging Consortium, and Jean and Geneviève has been interacting with them amongst other things about the training, and of course, with the history that France-BioImaging and NeuroBioimaging have been having about training, of course, we would be happy to have this share of expertise. To do this work, you've got a mission officer that is in front of you, but this is far not enough. We are more than 20 over the full territory of France working on that. And we have people working in each single node, and I must stress out that we've got collaboration with the RTMFM. And we have also opened the work group to candidate notes in Strasbourg and in Rouen. And so if you want to join us, just feel free to drop an email and come and work with us. So last slide is to thank once more all the people involved in the group. And here you've got a short video giving you the feeling of what it was to work last fall in Bordeaux on video material production.
Merci Fabrice. One short question.
That's really brilliant. Thanks a lot, Fabrice, also for showing this. And just a short comment. And please also reach out to Global Bioimaging, and that's Gleb Grebnev, because he has been building the 2-3 years training repository online in Global Bioimaging for trainers. So, and I think if we could link these two resources, that would be excellent.
Mm-hmm.
You already are in touch with Bioimaging North America. That would have been my other comment, but maybe they're also with Jennifer Waters from the Microlist. That might also add more content into this.
Okay. About the global bioimaging contact, I wouldn't mind you sending it to me because I must say that I don't have it. And then just keep in mind that we are not trying to reference already prepared and full lectures, but we are going down with a high granularity so that we can reuse it. So referencing all the lectures, the programs, and so on. This is especially, I've been the co-mission officer for Nubia's training, and this is one of the drawbacks that we had. We have been trying to reference the full lectures, and it's hard, I think, to get a reusability of the training material at that level. We should go down, and this is why we've made this choice. But I agree that surely in a global ecosystem, both positions could be there.
Donc maintenant, on va voir la présentation d'Étienne Henry, qui est chargé de mission transfert de technologie.
Okay. So I'm Etienne Henry, and I'm the mission officer for the R&D and Tech Transfer mission. First of all, once again, the FBI motto with an emphasis on innovation, because we want to, with my mission, we okay. So we want to promote new collaboration between R&D labs, between R&D labs and industry. We'd like to speed up transfer from R&D teams to imaging platforms and strengthen attractiveness and competitiveness of our core facility institute and R&D labs and innovative SMEs. So we did some survey to get your advice and to propose past calls. The first call we launched in 2021 was the tech transfer call. This call was proposed to promote transfer and user-friendlyization of state-of-the-art technologies. This year we launched the call which is called Outreach, because we wanted to extend outreach activities
addressing external user needs. And next year, we will launch the call Innovative R&D for core facilities to promote transfer and user friendlyization of state-of-the-art technology. So this third call is almost the same of the first one, but a little more open. And the last but not least, a small call which is open 24 hours a day since 2020. The small call is to speed up dissemination and the use of technologies and methods or approaches developed within the infrastructures. So this code is a smaller credits. So the first call starts in 2021. The aim was to promote technology transfer from R&D teams to France-BioImaging platforms or industry to facilitate access and service to end users. So starting from a demonstrated technology, we wanted to arrive at the end of the project. We would like to get a prototype which could be usable by the end users with training and user autonomy and with a sustainability program. So we have 5 funded projects. The projects started in 2021, so in October. So you will see in a few minutes the presentation of the big HCS from Bordeaux, the Cloudfish, Morphonet from Montpellier, and the BioImage IT project from EPDM node. To have an idea, the duration of the project was about 18 months, and the financial support from FBI was around 80,000 euros. The second call, launched at the beginning of the year, the aim was to increase the outreach of the France-BioImaging infrastructure by the development of a new technology by the R&D teams or a core facility to meet the need of users outside the FBI perimeter. So the aim was to use the force of the R&D teams to address a need outside the FBI perimeter. So we wanted to connect the external user needs to new technological development inside FBI teams or core facilities. So this time, starting from a proof of concept, we would like to get a technology which be ready to be transferred and addressing external user needs. So we funded someone is entering in my house. I hope it's my wife. 4 funded projects. Modlock, Sandrine will present, I think, tomorrow, the project. Polar imaging and virtual microscopy will be presented in a few minutes, and live comics next year. The duration of the project is almost 18 months, and the financial support is the same, 80 euros. Third call for next year. The call will be launched in March because we are waiting for the two new nodes. So the aim is the same as the first one, so promote technology transfer from teams to a platform but the projects are more open, so you can develop a project from an idea. You can develop or transfer your technology. The last one, the call which is open already, with a review of field law. This call, the aim is to give a boost to speed up dissemination and the use of a new technology. And one example, it was in 2020. It was a tech transfer project from Bordeaux, between the team of Olivier Toumine in Bordeaux and Imagocen with Jean-Marc Verbavatz. The duration was 5 weeks and the financial support was 5 kilo euros. So don't hesitate to use this funding opportunity, because there is too few applications. So I see you can do it. You can use it. Some links with Euro Bioimaging and Industry Board. During last year, I participated to a tech exchange organized by the Industry Board and Claudia Founder. I presented the way you use the research infrastructure as facilitator for R&D and tech transfer. So I highlight a startup, which is a Twinkle, a startup which was born into a R&D team from R&D team in ENS, yes. Ludovic Julien Lab. And next year, I don't know if you know the RI Train Plus program, but as part of the European project RT Train Plus, there are 2 modules of a training program for innovation and partnership engagement with industry and in research infrastructure and core facilities for employees of core facilities and research infrastructure. So I will give a lecture in September in the topic of leveraging public fundings for innovation as part of the course related to the FBI Internal Innovation Funding Program. And to finish my roadmap for the 2 next years. So the first funding program, the first projects will finish at the beginning of next year. So we will be able to take some outcomes and feedbacks from the first call tech transfer. And so we will get the fruit from these calls. And I will continue to highlight some previous success stories from FBI. And that's it. Yes.
On a le temps pour une très courte question.
Very fast. It's brilliant. And I think with this, France-BioImaging should really be involved in the Imagine project, which was funded by the European Commission to EMBL, instruct EMBRC and Eurobioimaging. And it is exactly what you are doing here, what shall be achieved there. So Etienne, I will come back and bring you again in touch with Claudia Pfander.
Thank you.
Voilà. Cédric Mathieu était vraiment désolé d'avoir dû annuler au dernier moment son trajet pour venir avec vous et vous présenter. Et je crois que je suis encore plus désolé que lui de devoir faire sa présentation. Alors, slides are in English, but presentation in French. Sorry. Donc, en 2020, Cédric s'était proposé pour être chargé de mission, une mission très ingrate, intégration et outils de e-management. Et ça a commencé par une analyse de la situation. Je vais faire un peu vite parce qu'on m'a dit que le temps était pressé. Donc, une analyse de la situation qui a permis d'arriver à une feuille de route avec différents projets à mener. Ça n'a pas été mené que par le chargé de mission, hein. Vous avez tous les membres du Working Group Core Facility qui ont participé aux différents projets que je vais vous présenter rapidement sur la diapositive suivante. Alors, des personnes du Working Group Core Facility avant qui se scindent en sous-groupe, comme vous l'a présenté Audrey tout à l'heure. Et là, vous avez les personnes qui actuellement font partie du Working Group Core Facility intégration et qui continuent à œuvrer à la réalisation des projets. Alors, une fois que c'est passé, que le Working Group Core Facility a travaillé, ça passe aussi avec toutes les plateformes du périmètre de FBI et le bureau exécutif, etc. Et une fois qu'un projet est terminé, on passe à la suite. Alors, les projets qui ont été menés, le premier a été une enquête de satisfaction qui a été en bêta-test en fin 2021 sur Marseille et puis qui a été ouvert à toutes les plateformes cette année. Actuellement, on aura à peu près 25% des plateformes qui l'ont utilisé. J'espère que l'année prochaine, on sera au moins à 50%. Voilà. Cette année, il y a aussi une charte des plateformes, une charte peu contraignante, mais qui permet au moins de fixer un peu les droits et devoirs à la fois des plateformes vis-à-vis de FBI, mais aussi de FBI vis-à-vis de ces plateformes, et c'était important de le faire. D'autant plus que le périmètre de FBI va s'agrandir et que de nouveaux nœuds vont arriver. Ensuite, il y a également alors ça, c'est peut-être un rêve que je partage avec Cédric, mais j'espère qu'on n'est pas les seuls, hein, mais je pense qu'on n'est pas les seuls, d'avoir un système de réservation commun. Alors, s'il n'y en a pas qu'un, qu'il y en ait au moins deux à 5 à 10 ans. Donc, pour le moment, c'est OpenIris qui a été choisi. FBI est devenu membre d'OpenIris avec un droit de vote et aussi la possibilité d'obtenir des modifications du logiciel pour pouvoir être adapté aux besoins des plateformes de France-BioImaging. Donc pour le moment, Marseille, alors il y a Curie qui l'utilise déjà depuis longtemps. Marseille s'y est mis et je pense que d'ici quelques années, d'autres plateformes vont y venir. Enfin, une enquête de publication qui est en train d'être terminée. Je vais vous la présenter rapidement pour que vous puissiez voir ce qu'il en est. Le but est vraiment d'obtenir le maximum de publications des utilisateurs des plateformes de FBI. Vous n'êtes pas sans savoir que tous nos financeurs demandent les publications. Voilà. Et on est à peu près à 50% qu'on utilise WAS, une recherche de WAS avec différents mots-clés. Et il faut qu'on puisse augmenter ce chiffre. Donc vous allez voir, il y a un système qui va être mis en place début 2023. Il a été validé au BE de décembre, au BE de FBI de décembre. Et enfin, il y a une carte de tous les instruments des plateformes qui est en train d'être préparée et qui va être généralisée vraiment à toutes les plateformes en 2023. Et le but, c'est pouvoir le mettre sur le site Internet et que tout le monde puisse avoir accès l'information des machines disponibles sur le périmètre de FBI. Je vous montrerai une dernière diapositive à la fin. Donc ça, c'était OpenIris qui a été mis en place, mais il y a eu des présentations préalables qui vous en ont parlé. Donc ça a été mis en place sur Marseille. Il y a eu une présentation ce matin à 11h30. Donc voilà, pour le moment, il n'y a pas plus de nœuds qui souhaitent passer OpenIris, parce qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui ont des systèmes homemade. Mais quand ça va devenir un peu caduque, on espère bien que tout le monde passera à OpenIris et qui sera surtout opérationnel, que tout ce qui est nécessaire à faire les bonnes passerelles vers les facturations, les choses simples, que ça puisse être mis en place le plus facilement possible sur un nœud qui veut switcher. L'enquête de publication, alors c'est vrai que les gens ont toujours très peur. C'est quelque chose qui va être extrêmement rapide à remplir par les utilisateurs des plateformes. Alors d'abord, ce n'est pas FBI qui va envoyer cette enquête, c'est chaque plateforme qui va envoyer à ses utilisateurs l'enquête. Donc la personne remplit, met son nom, ensuite elle choisit le nœud de FBI qui est utilisé. Là, je vous ai pris l'exemple de Montpellier pour vous montrer qu'il peut y avoir après un choix. Donc, en fonction du nœud, vous avez les plateformes du nœud qui apparaissent, les gens choisissent. S'ils prennent la plateforme Emery, ils peuvent avoir aussi un troisième volet qui s'ouvre, puisqu'il y a énormément de plateaux de Emery sur Montpellier qui sont un peu disséminés partout. Et la plateforme souhaitait que ces différents plateaux apparaissent pour l'enquête des publications. Donc, c'est le cas. Donc, ça peut être fait à façon, à la demande des plateformes. Ensuite, quelle est la position? Donc, chercheur, postdoc, thésard, etc. Quel est le profil? Académique, donc dans la ville du nœud, ou académique en dehors, société privée, start-up. Il faut juste cocher, ça va extrêmement vite. Avez-vous des publications en 2022 qui relèvent en fait d'une utilisation d'une plateforme de France-BioImaging? Si vous marquez non, ça s'arrête. Si vous marquez oui, on vous demande de remplir simplement combien de publications vous allez entrer. Et puis derrière, vous rentrez juste l'identifiant PubMed ou DOI. Et la seule question qui est demandée derrière, c'est quel est l'impact demander à l'utilisateur quel est l'impact de l'utilisation de la plateforme sur sa publication, allant de négligeable à décisif. Oui, dernière chose donc qui est demandé, c'est le domaine microscopie photonique, électronique, cytométrie, etc. Et si il y a une collaboration avec le secteur privé pour cette publication. Donc vous voyez, ça se remplit extrêmement rapidement. Si vous avez dit que vous avez 3 publications, vous aurez 3 fois les panneaux qui vont apparaître. Ensuite, tout à la fin, dès que vous avez rentré vos publications, on vous demande si vous avez un brevet ou une licence. Même chose, hein, oui, non. Le nombre que vous souhaitez donner, le titre et les auteurs de la licence ou du brevet et son numéro. Voilà. Dernière question, oui, si ça a été transféré ou licencié avec une société privée. Donc, c'est quelque chose qui se remplit extrêmement rapidement et on espère pouvoir donc, avoir une meilleure connaissance des publications qui requièrent l'utilisation d'une plateforme de FBI. Ensuite, ce qui a déjà commencé à être fait sur un certain nombre de plateformes, notamment des membres du Working Group Core Facility, c'est de faire l'inventaire de tous les équipements et de les classer en utilisant les classements retenus par EuroBioImaging. Et donc, il y a toutes les... Alors, vous ne le voyez pas parce que c'est tout petit. Il y a différentes couleurs qui sont en fonction des lieux ou en fonction du type d'équipement. Mais si vous cliquez après dessus, vous pouvez avoir aussi soit directement le lien vers la réservation ou soit de l'information sur de quoi est constituée exactement la machine en termes d'objectifs, etc., de filtres. Voilà, donc quelque chose d'assez exhaustif. Et dès que toutes les plateformes de France-BioImaging auront pu le le faire, ce sera sur le site internet et donc accessible à tout le monde. Voilà, c'est tout ce que je voulais vous dire.
Sinon, j'en prends la suite.
Yeah. So I have to be very short, which is for me a real challenge. So my mission, real challenge. My mission is actually as a mission officer for research entire research infrastructure activities or relationship and so on. And so to make it really short, I will just focus on one thing that we've been doing for the last 2 years. Is the building of a club of the National Infrastructure in Biology and Health. And I have to mention that this animation now is driven by Myriam Ferro and myself for the moment. Myriam Ferro from Profi, which is proteomics. Come on. So let's say, what is a club of the national infrastructure? This is a national infrastructure in biology and health on the French roadmap, okay? And so the club is constituted, was constituted of 19 plus 1 invited in 2022. And so in 2023, there will be 4 more. And that means that we will be 25 on the 26, which are on the roadmap actually right now. So you have the list of the infrastructure right there. Okay, so what is the rationale of the club? Basically, the National Agency for Research, ANR, and the ministry organized some meetings until 2019 for exchange between certain infrastructures. There will be some exchange as well beside that. And I would love to say that at some point they stopped because of the COVID and other things. And so there was really a need for exchange. And so I just mentioned exchange as a different type of exchange, common issues. Most of us, we are distributed research infrastructure, complex perimeter, multi-institution, and some are in S3 project or landmark, part of S3 project and landmark. Whatever, I mean, it's a lot of things that we can share between national infrastructure in biology and health. And so we launched this club at the end of 2020. Well, I did it, actually, I have to say it. And so how it works, we have regular meetings for every 1.5 to 2 months with an agenda. Who are participating? So the management board, the management delegates, project managers, the director of the research infrastructure, others, whatever. But it is really a club that is really informal. Organization, more or less 30 minutes of exchange and 1 hour and a half on one particular topics. This was, let's say, the idea at the beginning. In reality, we have to show some flexibility with regard to current events and actualities, I would say. So we always have minutes and compte rendu, documentation distributed and posted on a shared site, which is Uncloud Nantes University that Perrine opened to us. There is quite a lot of information there. So we open it. I think we will change now to another type of sharing. And I think there is a lot of information, which is which are important for management, let's say, management in the different infrastructures. So we do a lot of invitation of external speakers, presentation of new infrastructure that joined progressively. So we started, we were very little, we were 10 to 12, and now, I mean, I think we gather everybody, so almost. And so since February 2022, we have the right umbrella, which is Ibiza. Is no more there, but Bruno Robert is the director of Ibiza, and I think it's quite interesting. So we have the right umbrella to discuss with institutional bodies. I think it's one of the points. So we are not a new network. We are a club. We are discussing. We are promoting some symposiums, some other type of meetings, and I think it's a good way to have the road to discuss with stakeholders. That's I think it's an important point. And now we have working groups because we are quite a number. So the mailing list is 52 persons, so it's starting to be a lot of people, and there are some other knocking on the door. And we are working. We have working by working group now. We didn't have the choice. Okay, so I don't want to go back to this because it's too long. And I would say that this was a different type of thing that we organized as meetings, what kind of discussion we had. A lot of people participated from different research infrastructures on the roadmap. And I said that I would say just that at some point we had a very, very important meeting for me. So it was not in very nice moments because we had the strikes and we had COVID and so on and so on. But we organized an hybrid meeting on the data organization of the symposium of data for national infrastructure in biology and health. We also participate to the new summit, the symposium, the new summit Africa France in Montpellier, where I presented the club of the infrastructure, not specifically France-BioImaging. So that was the meeting that we've done with enjeux and perspective of the données des infrastructures. I think it was quite interesting because actually there were some important issues that were discussed during this meeting. So as Emmanuel say already, data management, particular aspect on DMP, DMPA, and so on. About the sustainability of storage structures and HPC computing centers, and to have some practice, information, perspective as well. And of course, we talk a lot also about fairization of data, ethics, and valorization of the data, which can be in some thinking quite paradoxal, but there is some possibility to do these kind of things. Valorization, still open science for data. And then we had a roundtable with exchange with the trustees in Ibiza. That means they were all there, the ministry, CNRS, INSERM, they were all there. And I found something very interesting in this roundtable because there were some questions that were recognized by everybody as legitimate and widely shared by the different infrastructure. For example, I just give one or two examples. Responsibilities of the data. For data, okay, you have a DMP structure versus DMP project. So that was already discussed. And data obsolescence, who decides? It's not clear, in fact. Some say it's the organization, the CNRS and so on. In some other cases, it's a project manager, but the project manager at some point will stop and the data will stay. So who is deciding this kind of stuff? Well, quite good discussion with no real solution, I would say. There is someone? No? Okay. In conclusion, I think the need to work and co-construction together with the infrastructure. So there were some other topics that were, let's say, discussed in the club, like organization, current structuration. That was very interesting because we realized that most of us are just bound by consortium agreement for all infrastructure. Some of them are not, or not more anymore, but some should be. And there are some supplementary organizations like UMS, URR, GIS, this type of things. Other interesting discussion was about infrastructure, national infrastructure and research infrastructure at the European level. Well, we have to consider that 12 infrastructure of the club and to 14 of the further, I mean, roadmap in S3 landmark in S3 landmark or project. And I think it's something that we didn't push too much, but I think it could be very interesting to have at the national level, combining the different research infrastructure that are listed there. Okay, in the different. This is just biological biology and health infrastructure, to have some discussion on how we could make it even better at the European level from the French perspective. So I think something. So since the beginning of the year, we had a lot of meetings with Ibiza, deciding what kind of collaboration we will do. And since this, we have also some other exchange meeting with Ibiza and institutional bodies. If I remember well, it was in June that where we had a very broad discussion between infrastructure and biology and health and the different institutional bodies under the umbrella of Ibiza. And I think it was certainly the moment where it was discussed about what is the futures, what will be the futures of financing and so on. I guess we were a bit listen, I would say. Hope it will be really the case when the new call will appear. But I think it was something like that. Okay, and since then, we have some very nice working group that are a bit structured with a leader and with people participating. And I would just quote the working group on full cost pricing in interaction with a ministry. A working group which is interesting in the relationship between infrastructure and the private sector. I think it's a very important one. And I think it's interesting beyond what we do at the level of France-BioImaging to have a bit of the idea how the others infrastructure deal with medtech, pharmatech, and so on, and a communication and media working group which is just starting. And the idea is to have a, let's say, a web portal, and Ibiza will put some money on that. And with that, I thank you.
Une question éventuellement, mais on a beaucoup de retard.